and I bet you, my friend, that chick will not stop thinking about you. Let's get into it. Take control. The definition of a man, aside from having that pecker in between his legs, is that he behaves like a man. It's sad to say that half the male population are weaklings. Whether you're meeting a lady for the first time or in a relationship, you are tasked with the responsibility of being in control. Be forewarned, the information you're being made privy to is not some cheap Google search and a bit of dabbling combined. This is for alpha males and alpha males only. Many ladies, and even some men, sad to say, like to lay the claim that it's not the right of the man to take control. She should be allowed to make her own choice, they'll say. The scenario I would like to paint for you is that a lion breaks into your house, or maybe a bit more practically, a robber, and a lady is in that room with you. She's going to look to you for protection and security. And that, my friend, is the reason why you have to take control. Taking control should not be limited to actions, but even speech and other matters. When you meet with that lady, she should not be the one to decide where you'll meet, and if you want to go further for those in a relationship, what she should eat. Not exactly what she should eat, like ordering for her, but like where to eat, all that stuff. I'm teaching you a secret that many will frown upon, but it works. Taking control does not deny that crush of yours the chance to suggest, but without your approval, it shouldn't stand. If you take control, trust that she will remember you because you are one in a million. Listen to her. I don't know what better way to say this than to tell you to shut the fuck up and listen to that girl, to tell you the story of her life. I once met a lady, and when I asked her what character she wanted her man to have, she said, he should listen to me. I don't buy that crap of what she wants in her man, because as a man, you are supposed to have what she wants even without asking. We have ladies claiming to be men, and I need you to grow a pair and shut up. It is not a norm or a popular belief that women talk a lot. It is a fact, and it is not disputable. It is who she is. So when I see a woman talking endlessly, I immediately assume, even without seeing the face, that it's a woman. A man is not wired to talk as much. So when I see you doing that, be prepared for a smack in the face. Listening to that girl speak does not take a cent from you. At least from point one, I said you should decide what you two will and should talk about. The least you can do is hear her views. When you decide what to talk about and still talk about it, not giving room for the other partner, well, you're a narcissist, period. Decide what to talk about and let her say her piece. If you feel like talking, ask questions about what she said. That's at least proof that you are listening. The benefits of listening are immeasurable in a world filled with a lot of the talkative people. Listening is an outstanding trait of the male character, and when ladies find such a man, they never forget them. I want you to pledge not to talk too much. Whenever you're with that damsel, count your words. Not literally, but you know what I mean. Make plans for your future. When I see a girl who freaks out and bails on me because I made plans, I am not sad. And I implore you to have that same disposition about her. Based on the few that I've met, it is safe to say that not all ladies are ready to stick to one guy. And I can tell you that that is very disgusting and dangerous to tangle with such a promiscuous chick. When she bails on you for this reason, you should take it as a sign of providence. But if she doesn't, then my friend, she will not stop thinking about you. It might sound exaggerated, but it is true to the very core. Very few guys are bold enough to take such a step, and I'm teaching you to stand out. When you make plans for your future and you include her, it tells you that you're not going away. It tells you that you can be trusted. It is said that if a lady loves you, she will do the unspeakable for you. Love does not come without trust. If a lady gives you her trust, she will think of you every day of her life. And sometimes she might become really restless if she hasn't heard from you. Make plans for the future with that chick that you so admire. The lady could be an acquaintance, girlfriend, fiancé. And with that, I still insist that you make plans. An example could be you just met this beautiful Asian girl with full hair and charming blue eyes. You just finished a pleasant conversation with the lady and she wants to leave. You could say, "I'd like to see you sometime again. You free Saturday evening?" If she says yes, you can proceed to collect her number. And that, my friend, is how to get him to have you in mind, always. proper grooming whenever you see her. I'll tell you freely that very few men pay attention to their grooming. Many times you pass by a fellow and their odor is just not pleasant. And don't get me wrong, they still score ladies with that stench of theirs. But if you want to get that lady whom your children will be proud of having as a mother to think about you, well, then you have to pay attention to your appearance. Whenever you meet her or come into contact with her, I want you to be at your best. No squeezed shirt or trousers, rough hair, offensive odor. Invest in your looks. Take some time out every weekend to visit your barber, or every other weekend, or at least sometimes. Get an iron. It doesn't have to break the bank. As a teenager, I didn't have lots of cash flowing in, but I ensured that I got myself cheap deodorants and perfumes. I need you to get what you can afford. To smell good should be among your priorities from today. Each time she sees you and each time she smells you, it should leave an indelible mark in her heart so that when she begins to compare those beta males who are your competition, you look like the perfect man. You smell like the perfect man. You have to understand that ladies compare, and that is the most reason that they remember anything to start with. Be at the top of your game, and she won't forget you. Befriend her friends. As dudes, we gotta admit, but when we're together, we talk about girls. And sometimes there's this one girl that we always talk about. When a lady always makes it into our conversation, it's either she's doing something very right or very wrong. I want you to understand, you daredevil, that when you befriend her friends, you'll always be on the menu for discussion. Don't get me wrong, bud. I'm not saying that you should always hang out with them. All I need you to do is speak to them from time to time. Leave them with something to think about, and you will make the rounds in their conversation. When they talk about you a lot, you can be assured of being remembered. Don't be surprised when you see them stalking your social media page, buddy. It's called the befriending effect. Turn the tides today by speaking to these lady friends of hers. Chapter 1. Independence. A man, not a child. Alright, so let's jump straight into the core of this thing. We're talking about independence. Being your own man, the real deal. Look around you. Who's the one that's still living under the cozy, safe roof of his parents? Is that you? Well, it's about goddamn time you make a change. Independence isn't just a word, it is a lifestyle. It's a statement. It's showing her that you are capable of taking care of yourself, of being a man in the truest sense. And no, you don't have to own a mansion or drive a fancy car to do that. But you do need to show her that you've moved beyond your mom's cooking and your dad's curfews. You gotta have your own space, man. Now listen, you don't have to be rich and loaded to do that. The core idea is showing that you can handle life on your own. You pay your own bills, cook your own food, do your own laundry. You take care of your space. Keep it clean. Keep it respectable. Trust me, no girl wants to hang out with a guy who's still reliant on his mommy to wash his socks. Being independent also means making your own goddamn decisions, standing by them, and dealing with the consequences. You make a mess, you clean it up. You screw it up, you fix it up. No calling mom and dad every time the going gets tough. Because that's what being a man is all about. Facing up to what life throws at you and dealing with it head on. Chapter 2. No clinginess. The balance of need and space. Here's the deal. Nobody, I mean no one, likes a clingy person. This isn't just about girls, it's a universal truth. So if you're the guy who's constantly blowing up her phone, always trying to be where she is, basically smothering her with your presence, dude, you gotta stop. And you need to stop now. You see, being independent and not being clingy go hand in hand. If you've mastered the first one, then this one should come easily to you. But I understand, sometimes emotions get the best of us. You like her. You want to be around her all the time. But there's a difference between showing interest and downright drowning her. You need to give her space to breathe, to live her life. You gotta understand that she had a life before you came into the picture, and she's going to continue to have one even if you're not in the picture. Don't be the guy who expects her to drop everything for you. Respect her time, her space, her friends, her commitments, because believe it or not, showing her that you respect her life outside of that will earn massive respect in return. It shows that you're not a needy, insecure guy. Instead, it paints a picture of a man who's confident, who knows that he's a great catch, and doesn't need to be constantly validated. Another important point is to remember that relationships aren't about possession, they're about connection. She's not an object for you to possess. She's a person you're building connection with. This connection will be stronger if you both have the space to be your individual selves. So pull back a bit. Give her room to miss you. Trust me, that's really important. Chapter 4, Mastering Your Emotions. Mastering your inner game. I know you got feelings, man. I got them too. We're human. It's just part of the package. But here's where we separate the boys from the men. It's how you handle your emotions, dude. Imagine this. You're out with her and some guy makes a pass at her. How do you react? Do you get all heated, fist clenched, ready to start a fight? That's a boy's reaction, pal. If you want respect, you act like a man. You stay calm, you keep your cool, show her that you're not threatened. Because the moment that you lose control of your emotions, you lose control of the situation, and then you lose her respect. And this goes for all emotions, not just anger. Sadness, frustration, fear, even happiness, you gotta keep them all in check. Feel them, yes, absolutely, but do not let them rule you. A man who is controlled by his emotions is like a ship without a rudder, tossed about by the winds of life. That's not the kind of guy a woman respects. She wants someone who can navigate through the storms, not someone who caves in at the first sign of trouble. Chapter 5, Show Humility, the Secret Sauce. Now listen up, because this one is counterintuitive, but it is absolutely essential. Show humility. Humility is not just thinking less of yourself. It's recognizing your own worth while accepting that you're not the center of the universe. It is that chef's kiss secret sauce to being respected. Nobody likes a guy who brags, especially not the whammons. If you're always puffing out your chest, trying to be a big shot, she's gonna see right through you in 2 seconds, and I guarantee you it's not a good look. But humility, it's sexy. It shows that you're comfortable with who you are. You don't need to prove anything to anybody. That kind of quiet confidence is a magnet for respect. You be drowning in that pussy, as they say. So, the next time you're with her, try to dial back that ego a notch and listen more when you speak. Chapter 6, Be Willing to Change, Adapt, and Evolve. Finally, the last piece of the puzzle, the willingness to change. Let me tell you something, the world is in constant motion. Everything changes, everything evolves. And if you're stuck in your ways, refusing to budge, refusing to grow, you're not going anywhere. And guess what? She'll see that. She'll see you stagnating while the world moves forward. And that, my friend, is the quickest way to lose her respect. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not telling you to change who you are. You don't gotta rebuild yourself from the ground up. I'm talking about the ability to adapt, to learn from your mistakes, to take on new challenges, and to constantly strive to be a better version of yourself. Be passionate in the bedroom. It's not enough to dress well, smell good, take control, listen to her. In fact, you can do all of that and still be forgotten. But when you do this right, you are going to be on her mind all the time. Very few students pay attention to this aspect of things. Most of them, they spend their time on appearance, and they spare nothing for this part. Nothing can replace good and passionate sex. Absolutely nothing. When you get into that activity, focus on giving her something that she will never forget about in all of her life. Live every day like your last is a wisdom that we all love to quote. However, I want you to handle every consummation like your last. When you perform well in the bedroom, she'll never forget you. These points have been declassified with your best intentions at heart. Handle the problem and stop going around it. Click on the following video to improve your perspective on women.